I walk into my bedroom and stop cold. My heart skips, then pounds wildly in my chest. Giselle is standing in front of my mirror, her slim frame wrapped in ivory satin that gleams under the afternoon light spilling through the window. My after-party wedding dress. The one I spent months hunting down, the one that made James' eyes shine when I first showed him the designer's sketch. My grandmother's diamond earrings sway from her ears, scattering bits of rainbow with every small tilt of her head. The heirlooms promised to me, the ones Grandma Rose said I would wear on my wedding day. Giselle angles her chin, smiling at her reflection, completely unaware I'm here. The satin drapes down her shoulders as if it were designed for her, when in truth it was made for me. "What are you doing in my wedding dress?" My words come out soft, almost a whisper, but they strike hard enough to make Giselle spin around. Her face lights up instead of showing shame. "Helena. Just perfect." Her palms smooth down the fabric. "Looks better on me anyway." Mom agrees. The sentence slams into me. Behind me a floorboard groans. I turn and find my parents in the doorway, their faces split between unease and firm resolve. They knew. Of course they knew. "Sweetheart." Mom steps in, her voice dipped in that soothing tone I've heard all my life. "You'll have the main gown. Can't you let her have this one?" Dad waves his hand casually. "Your sister has always looked radiant in white." Their voices trigger memory after memory. Giselle taking my designer heels for a night out, returning them scraped and ruined. My vintage purse handed back with smeared makeup ground into the leather. The cashmere sweater I saved months to buy, stretched loose after her weekend getaway. Family first, I always told myself, biting my tongue, swallowing my anger. Last winter rushes back. The look I styled for Senator Graham's daughter. The client who could have launched my career, snatched by Giselle just hours before my delivery. A red wine blotch spreading across the custom jacket like blood. Strike one, my boss had warned, his eyes sharp with disappointment. When I went to my parents, they brushed it away. "Mistakes happen. She's your sister." My back straightens, shoulders squaring. Something deep inside shifts, like the ground moving under years of weight. "Not this time." My voice is firm, steady. "Take it off." The room falls heavy, silence pressing down on us. Giselle's mouth drops open, her eyes wide at the shock of hearing no. "You're kidding." She forces a laugh, brittle in her throat. "Mom, tell her she's being ridiculous." Mom steps closer, palms up, pleading. "Helena darling, don't start a scene. Giselle only wants to feel special too." "Take it off," I repeat, my tone dropping low. "Right now or I cancel the wedding." The threat cuts the air like glass. Dad's face burns red, but whatever he was about to say dies when he sees my eyes. "Fine," Giselle snaps. "I never wanted your stupid dress anyway." Her hands yank at the zipper, rough and careless. I move quickly, catching her wrist before the fabric tears. "The earrings too," I murmur. With sharp precision, she removes them, pressing them into my hand with more force than necessary. The diamonds feel like ice against my skin. When Giselle storms out in a swirl of drama, I carefully place the dress back in my closet. My parents glare, cold and sharp, warning me that I'll pay for this defiance. My hands linger on the satin, heart racing still. For 27 years I've stepped aside, kept the peace, played the good daughter, the one who always understands. Looking at the dress, my dress, I vow silently. No more. They've taken enough. This wedding will be mine, and anyone who tries to steal it will regret it. The next day, James drops his notebook on the table and massages his temples. "So that's it? Honey lavender cake with buttercream?" I nod, sinking into the sofa. After weeks of arguments and tastings, we've finally made the last big choice. James slides his fingers into mine, tracing lazy circles on my palm. 3 weeks, Helena. Just 3 more weeks until you're Mrs. Wells." The doorbell rings before I can answer. I check my phone. No visitors expected. James arches an eyebrow but goes to open the door. My parents' voices carry inside, my mother firing off questions about our sofa as if she owns the place. They never call. They just show up, ghost summoned by wedding plans. "We brought the family wedding planner," Mom announces, sweeping into the room. She clutches a thick leather binder I've never seen. Dad trails behind, eyes scanning our furniture, calculating prices. "We've made a few changes," Mom says, spreading the binder across our notes, covering everything we had planned. "Just small adjustments to make it perfect." James sits beside me, squeezing my hand gently. Mom flips to a page titled Bridal Party and points to a new entry. Giselle added as co-bride with her own white gown and matching jewelry. The world tilts. Co-bride? James leans forward. That doesn't exist. It's our wedding. Mom waves her hand. It's very modern, very European. It's not a trend, I say, voice steady though my chest trembles. And it's not happening. Dad clears his throat. Helena, don't be unreasonable. Your sister has been excited for this. Excited for what? My wedding? The words burn my throat. To share your big day, Mom corrects, her lips stiff at the corners. After they leave, promising more discussion, I sit at the laptop with a knot in my stomach. I type wedding into the search bar, and dozens of emails appear. All between my mother and the venue. None with me copied. James, I whisper. He reads, breath catching. Special notes requesting both sisters highlighted equally. Balanced photos. 2 bridal suites. My phone buzzes. Giselle tagged me on Instagram. My chest tightens as I open it. She's in my after-party dress, altered slightly, captioned. Final fitting for my wedding look. Sister ceremony. Double brides. Comments flood in. Congratulations. Didn't know you were engaged too. What's a sister ceremony? So cool, you're both getting married. The phone rings. Aunt Catherine from Virginia. Helena, sweetie. Your mom told me about this sister ceremony. Is this really what you want? My head spins as I try to explain none of it was my idea. More calls follow. Family, friends, cousins, relatives. Everyone asking the same question. Why am I making my sister a co-bride? When I confront my mother on the phone, her voice drips with self-pity. You've always been the strong one, Helena. Giselle needs this. She's been so sad since that breakup. My father cuts in sharply. We're paying half this wedding. We deserve a say in how it goes. More calls. More pressure. Uncle Robert advising me to be the bigger person. Cousin Samantha keeps asking if I'm being selfish, her words circling me, each talk feeling like water slowly climbing higher around my neck. Only Aunt Martha dares to tell me the truth the next day when she visits, her tone hushed, her eyes flicking nervously toward the door. They've been planning this since you shared your engagement, she whispers. Your mother ordered Giselle's dress the very same week you ordered yours. My palms press flat against the cold kitchen counter, its smooth granite grounding me. How do you know all this? I overheard them at Christmas, she admits. Your mother said forgiveness would be easier to ask for than permission. Martha squeezes my arm gently. I should have warned you sooner. That evening, I drive to see Grandma Rose at her assisted living home. Unlike my parents' vast house, her small apartment feels like a refuge. This is your wedding, Helena, she says, her frail fingers curling softly over mine. No one else's. Not your sister's. Not your mother's. When I walk back in later, James sits hunched over the laptop with spreadsheets open. We can pay for it ourselves, he says, not glancing up. I've done the math 3 different ways. We'll make it work. My maid of honor, Sarah, arrives carrying wine and her legal pad. I'm writing everything down, she declares, flipping to a timeline filled with every crossed boundary, just in case this turns ugly. My phone buzzes again, this time my boss. I almost let it go to voicemail, but something urges me to pick up. Helena, he says, voice unusually gentle. One of our clients mentioned your double wedding. Want to explain what's happening? I stammer through an explanation, bracing for concern over the business impact. Instead, his reply cuts straight through me. Your sister lost us the Senator Graham campaign, he says bluntly. Don't let her steal your wedding too. That night, my parents send their ultimatum in a text message. Make Giselle a co-bride or lose their financial backing. Their words carry veiled reminders about Grandma Rose's care and warnings about how family image shapes my career. I stand by the window in our bedroom, staring at the glow of the city beneath me. James wraps his arms tight around me from behind. This isn't about a dress anymore, I whisper. It's about my entire life. 2 days after seeing their messages, another notification lights up my screen. Giselle's tear-streaked face fills a local morning show segment. All I wanted was to share my sister's big day. The host leans in with sympathy. And she refused to let you wear the dress? She even threatened to cancel her whole wedding? Giselle dabs her eyes with a tissue. After everything our family has done for her. I slam my coffee mug down, liquid splattering across the counter. The host doesn't mention how she tried my dress on without asking, how she's ruined my things for nearly 3 decades, or how this wedding is supposed to be about James and me, not her. Within hours, share with sister, trends across local social media. My cousin Denise texts, "Is this really that serious? Family comes first." Then my phone rings, Aunt Carol silent for 3 years now calling. "Helena, I raised you better. Your mother is devastated." My hand clenches the phone tighter. "Did she tell you she tried to make Giselle a co-bride?" "Stop exaggerating. She just wants both daughters to shine." The doorbell rings. A delivery man passes me a pile of letters from my parents' church members. The first envelope, already opened, reads simply, "Honor thy father and mother." I toss the stack into the recycling bin. Monday morning at the studio, I style outfits for Valerie Torres, an influencer with 2 million followers. My focus shatters with every vibration. 12 texts from mom, 7 from dad, 23 from Giselle. "Is everything all right?" Valerie asks softly as I fix her collar. "You look distracted." "I'm fine," I lie, pinning her dress hem. "I saw your sister's interview," she adds casually. "Wedding drama, right?" My followers are buzzing about it. My hands freeze mid-motion. My private life. My work life. All boundaries melting together, blurred like watercolors in the rain. "It's complicated," I finally mutter. After Valerie leaves, Diana calls me into her office. The morning show segment plays silently on her computer screen. "This cannot touch the studio." She gestures sharply toward the footage. "Clients come to us for flawless images, not family scandals. Keep yourself composed or take time off." I nod, throat tight. "It won't be an issue." Tuesday night, I drive to Grandma Rose's cottage in Pasadena. The warm scent of cinnamon and old books surrounds me as I step inside. Her walls are filled with family photos, including one of my mother and her sister. She leads me to the familiar floral sofa. Tears spill suddenly. They're painting me as the villain. Giselle went on TV. The church sent letters. My boss threatened my job. She holds my hand firmly, her papery skin surprisingly strong. "Your mother did this to her own sister," she says. My head jerks up. "What?" "At Louise's wedding, she wore white, forced her way into photos, demanded matching flowers. When Louise protested, your grandfather defended your mother." Her sigh is heavy. "They haven't spoken for 3 decades. I didn't know. I have to stop this. Some cycles need breaking, dear. Someone must be strong enough." She squeezes my hand. "And you've always been strong." Slowly, Grandma Rose rises, her knees protesting. "I have something for you." She leads me to her bedroom where a cedar chest waits at the foot of her bed. The hinges groan as she opens it. Beneath a crocheted blanket rests a pile of documents. "What are these?" I ask, taking the folder. "Start with the house deed," she says. I scan the page, eyes catching my name printed beside hers. "I co-own your house?" She nods. "Since you turned 25. Another file shows the family trust. My name clearly marked as executor of her estate. "Grandma, I don't understand." "I've watched this for years," she says softly. "Your parents always let Giselle take what was yours. I made sure they couldn't take everything." The truth presses down on me, heavy but clarifying. "You've been shielding me all along. Now it's my turn to shield myself." The next morning, I meet with Tasha, a planner outside my mother's circle. Her walls display weddings full of originality, none with sisters in matching gowns. "Tell me what you want," she insists, stressing the word. For the first time since my engagement, someone asks me instead of dictating. "Security," I answer without hesitation. "People to enforce the guest list, to stop certain relatives from interfering." Tasha nods firmly. "We'll make it happen." That afternoon, James's old roommate Marcus, now in IT security, helps us. We change every password tied to the wedding. Vendors, venue, photographers. "They won't get in again," Marcus assures me, fingers flying over the keyboard. "I've locked everything with 2-factor authentication." I phone the venue directly, bypassing the coordinator my mother charmed. "I'm the bride, the only bride," I state clearly. "Only my fiancé or I can approve changes." "Understood, Miss Carter," the manager replies. "We'll update your file right now." The warmth of reclaiming my wedding spreads through me like sunlight after a long winter. I move money from my savings account, covering what my parents were supposed to pay. The confirmation email lands in my inbox, carrying a weight that feels like release. That evening, I fall asleep in our apartment with my phone switched off. No texts arrive demanding answers. No calls dripping with guilt. No constant social media reminders about family devotion. James joins me on the balcony at sunrise, coffee in hand, studying my face. "You seem different," he murmurs, settling beside me. I am different. For the first time in weeks, the tightness has left my shoulders. The constant knot in my stomach has eased. My whole life I've tried to keep harmony by cutting away pieces of myself. Now I'm piecing myself back together, one clear boundary at a time. Some might label it selfish, but to me it feels like survival. A few days later, after carefully reviewing every step of my plan, I sit down to dinner with my family. It's time to start. "You were right," I tell my mother, watching her ease as she serves another spoonful of pot roast. "Family should come first." The table goes silent. My father freezes mid-bite. Across from me, Giselle studies me, suspicion flickering before a slow smile spreads. "I knew you'd see reason," Mom says, patting my hand. Her wedding band glitters, and for a moment I'm reminded of Grandma Rose's earrings. "We all want your wedding to be just right. For everyone," Dad adds firmly, sipping his wine. I nod, swallowing the bitterness rising in my throat. "Actually, I was thinking Giselle could try the after-party dress again, just to confirm the fit." Giselle almost spills her glass of water. "Really? Really," I reply, pulling my phone from my purse. "Maybe we can snap some pictures for the keepsake album." Later, as she spins in my room, I capture shot after shot. The satin dress sweeps around her ankles as she strikes dramatic poses beside my vanity. Mom lingers close, her smile victorious. The earrings glitter from Giselle's ears, scattering light with every movement. "These photos will be priceless," Mom says, squeezing my arm. I nod, taking one last picture. "Yes, they will." While they chatter about shoes, I slip into the hallway, fingers moving quickly over my phone. The email leaves with a quiet whoosh, and for the first time in weeks I can breathe. The next morning, my post goes live at exactly 8 a.m., the moment Dad starts work and Mom sips coffee while scrolling. "A bride deserves respect," the caption declares. Beneath it, a series of images unfold. My designer heels, before Giselle borrowed them, and after, scuffed beyond repair. My vintage purse, once spotless, now smeared with makeup. My cashmere sweater, stretched and ruined. And last, Giselle in my after-party dress, wearing Grandma's earrings. Comments pour in instantly. Colleagues rally to my side, their words joined by a hashtag spreading fast. By noon, "Bride not bullied." My phone buzzes non-stop. I silence it, slipping it into my desk drawer. My boss passes by, glances at my screen filled with climbing numbers. "About time," she remarks, walking on. By lunch, 3 vendors publicly state they'll only accept direction from me, Helena Carter. My mother calls 17 times. Each one goes to voicemail. "What are you doing?" James asks later as we step into the bank. His tone carries no blame, only interest. "Taking back what's mine," I say, holding his hand before approaching the manager's desk. I spread papers across the polished wood. Receipts, transfers, email confirmations, proof of every dollar I'd contributed to the wedding fund my parents still held. "These were made under false pretenses," I explain evenly. "I'd like the money returned here instead." The manager reviews, nodding with care. "Everything is in order, Miss Carter." James watches quietly as the transfers are processed. 20 minutes later we leave, the leverage gone. My parents can't dangle funds they no longer control. I leave a short message on their machine. The payments are handled. The wedding will continue on my terms with James. The missing dress is my last step. Knowing Giselle's schedule has its advantages. 27 years of shaping my life around hers taught me well. While she's at her salon, I empty my closet of everything wedding-related. Half an hour later, her name lights up my phone. "Where is it?" Her voice shakes with fury. "Mom and Dad are livid." I imagine they are. I fold the dress neatly into an acid-free box at Grandma's house, far from their reach. "You can't do this," Giselle screams. "That dress looked better on me anyway." Some things were never meant to be shared. I place Grandma's earrings in their velvet box beside the gown. Especially things that were never yours. I hang up mid-rant, powering off my phone. Grandma watches from her chair, a sly smile tugging her lips. "They'll be furious," she says without worry in her tone. "Let them." I shut the box lid, running my hand across its surface. They've controlled my story for 27 years. Now the wedding is mine. Grandma nods, taking my hand. "And so, finally, are you?" On the wedding morning, I arrive 3 hours early, finding the venue already in uproar. Through the glass, I see Mom gesturing wildly, Dad waving paperwork at the coordinator. Giselle lingers behind them, dressed in a gown alarmingly close to mine. We had an agreement about the joint ceremony. Mom insists, her voice echoing through the foyer. It's a family tradition. The coordinator shakes her head. There's no mention of two brides in this contract. It was verbal. Dad snaps. We'll pursue legal action if needed. I tighten my grip on James' hand as we watch from outside. His college friends, acting as our quiet security, hold their ground in suits, solid and unshakable. Ready? James asks, pressing my fingers. I nod. More than ever. As we walk in, Mom's face drains of color. Giselle's mouth opens in shock. They hadn't expected me yet, giving them time to rewrite my wedding. Miss Carter, the coordinator, hurries over, relief flooding her face. Perhaps you can explain? There is no second ceremony, I announce, my voice raised enough for the gathered staff to hear clearly. My parents and sister freeze, confused. I turn toward Marcus, James' old linebacker buddy now hired as security. Please make sure they remain in the designated family section until the service begins. They're not permitted to alter any part of the plans. Dad's cheeks burn red. You can't. I already am. I cut him off, my tone unwavering. And I will. 2 hours later, I stand in the bridal suite with Grandma Rose carefully adjusting my veil. My gown, the true wedding dress, not the reception one Giselle attempted to steal, flows around me in layers of delicate lace. You look stunning, Grandma murmurs, her hands slightly unsteady as she secures the veil with a pearl pin. An heirloom. Brave too. Sarah, my maid of honor, returns from checking the ceremony space. Your parents got the point. They're seated in the front row, looking like they've swallowed sour fruit. He smirks. And Giselle keeps fussing with her outfit, stuffing centerpiece flowers into it to make it appear more bridal. I should be anxious, yet an unexpected calm wraps around me. Let's begin. The music rises as I take Grandma's arm. We had arranged this carefully, no father leading me down the aisle. Instead, the woman who showed me what true loyalty looks like walks me forward. As we step inside, the celebrant's voice rings out. Today we gather to celebrate the union of Helena and James only. Her deliberate emphasis on the last word makes several guests shift uneasily. Mom's smile looks stiff. Dad refuses to turn his head. Giselle fiddles with her cheap jewelry, a poor replica of Grandma's diamonds that rest securely in the bridal suite safe. My gaze locks with James and I never break it. His steady smile becomes my anchor as I pass the very family who tried to steal. Even this moment. The reception begins with delicious tension as I step out of the suite in my ivory satin after-party gown, the one they tried to ambush. Grandma's diamond earrings glimmer beneath the chandelier with every tilt of my head. The balance feels complete. You took it back, Grandma whispers, nudging one earring straight. All of it, I assure her. Giselle sulks at the family table, her expression swinging between rage and calculation. Mom's fury shows in her clenched grip on her champagne glass. The photographer captures every frame, preserving their bitterness alongside my joy. When it's time for toasts, I rise first. To those who truly stand beside us and respect our limits, I say, lifting my glass. Toward Grandma, then James, then Sarah. The family table receives nothing from me. The evening flows perfectly until I notice Giselle creeping toward the DJ booth. Mom hurries after her, whispering sharply to the planner who shakes her head with finality. Special sister speech, Mom insists. It's tradition. But before Giselle can grab the microphone, James's best man smoothly blocks her path. The bride's playlist is non-negotiable, he says politely, steering her away. I cross the dance floor, stopping squarely before my sister. Not tonight, I tell her softly. Not ever again. Her eyes widen. For once, she seems to understand my resolve. Minutes later, Dad corners me near the cake table. We need a word. No. I follow them into a side room where Mom instantly bursts into tears. You've shamed us in front of everyone, Dad hisses. You'll regret this little display. Mom dabs her eyes theatrically. After all our sacrifices, all our care. I study them both, really see them perhaps for the first time. Mom's tears timed perfectly like a performance. Dad's dominance collapsing the second it's resisted. Thank you, I say quietly. They both look startled. For what? Mom asks carefully. For finally showing me exactly who you are. I adjust Grandma's earrings. Now I know exactly who I need to become. Dad steps closer. If you walk out that door, you'll what? I interrupt. Take my car, my inheritance, my gown. You've taken pieces of me my entire life. There's nothing left for you to seize. I push open the door, pausing in the frame. Enjoy the cake. I chose chocolate only because it's the one flavor Giselle despises. The celebration continues without them. James pulls me into his arms on the dance floor, guiding us to our song. Over his shoulder, I glimpse Grandma chatting warmly with his parents. Her diamonds catching the glow with every laugh. Some jewels are not mere decoration. Sometimes they're protection. 6 months later, I stand at the bay window of our Connecticut home, watching autumn leaves swirl across the grass. 3 states and hundreds of miles now separate me from them. The distance feels like fresh air. More coffee? James asks, shuffling across the wooden floors in his socks. Please. The phone falls silent. Tomorrow will be soon enough. I take the mug, inhaling its warmth. I was just thinking how quiet it is. No surprise visits. No chaos. No one rifling through my belongings. James settles beside me on the window seat. Your mother called again yesterday. I know. I wrap my fingers around the mug. I'll return the call next week. My way. With boundaries intact. And if they fight back? I shrug. Then the call ends. They're learning I mean what I say now. James kisses my temple. I'm proud of you. I can finally breathe here. I whisper. The truth of it still feels astonishing. Later, Grandma's silver Buick pulls into the drive. Her move to the senior residence nearby was the wisest choice we made after the wedding. She sits at our kitchen table as I make tea. Her joints ache more, but her eyes remain sharp. I completed everything, she says, sliding a folder across. Your executor now and primary heir. The words blur as tears prick my eyes. Grandma, you didn't have to. You were the only one who truly saw them. Her aged hand closes over mine. This family follows a pattern. She opens a photo album unfamiliar to me. Photos of my mother as a girl, forever standing aside for her sister. My grandmother, younger, her dreams surrendered to her brother's demands. Generations of silence, she says bluntly. Hey. 2 weeks later, I stand in my new downtown styling studio, arranging the magazine that features my wedding look on the counter. My phone buzzes with a celebrity booking her Instagram praise for. My boundary-setting bride style drawing a flood of new clients. What sweetens the moment is knowing Giselle saw the latest style. Quarterly issue where her idol wears my accessory line. A quiet smile spreads across my face as I arrange the display. Creating, not yielding. Building, not bowing. A package arrives on a Tuesday. No sender listed, but the handwriting is unmistakably my mother's. Inside is my childhood diary, its lavender cover faded. I turn pages of youthful handwriting, each one tracking a borrowed thing that never came back. A folded note falls free. Maybe we should have listened. Not an apology but recognition. Something. I place the diary on the shelf, visible but not central. A closed chapter not erased. Weeks later, Thanksgiving brings the scent of herbs and comfort. Our dining table stretches to seat Grandma and the friends who never wavered. Sarah arranges flowers while James slices the turkey. The phone rings from the study. My parents' number. Do you want to answer? Grandma asks knowingly. Tomorrow, I decide, stepping back to the table. Today is for joy. Today is for joy. James lifts his glass in a toast to chosen family and hard-earned peace. I glance around at these people who love freely, who support without manipulation, and feel the perfect weight of the moment. Some things deserve holding on to. Some things deserve sharing. And some things, like your self-respect, must never be handed away. As laughter fills the room, I wonder what stories others hold about drawing. Their own boundaries. What moment gave them the courage to say enough? Perhaps their paths echo mine.